Okay, let's talk about classical and operant conditioning today. I know I went over it in class a bit, but I want to kind of talk about a few things. Classical conditioning primarily deals with involuntary responses such as breathing, eye blink. I gave you the example with the student holding up a straw to another student's eye. Let's not do this in real life. But when they held up the straw, then after a minute, not in a minute, but a few seconds, then they would blow. And of course, there would be the eye blink in response to the air going into the eye. You would do that repeatedly until maybe about the 10th time you did it. All you had to do was raise the straw and the person would blink. Okay? That's an example of an involuntary response, which was the eye blink, being conditioned to the simple raising of the straw. So with classical conditioning, we're talking about, Pavlov's dog and all that kind of thing. The other thing I want to talk about is operant behavior. So if there's stimulus leading to a response, then if the classical conditioning primarily relies on the pairing of the two stimuli, two things on that side, then in operant conditioning, we're talking about responses, what happens after something occurs. This would be a voluntary response, such as you're driving your car and red and blue lights appear in the rearview mirror. You lift your foot off of the accelerator and put it on the brake. That's a voluntary response. Now, your heart rate going up, that's an involuntary response. So even in that example, you have two different things going on. The voluntary response of lifting your foot off of the off of the accelerator and onto the brake, and your heart rate increasing because you saw the red and blue lights in your rearview mirror. Okay. Another thing I want to talk about deals with negative reinforcement, punishment, and positive reinforcement. Everybody gets positive reinforcement. It's reward. You make an A, you get $10, that kind of thing. That's reward. But often students get negative reinforcement and punishment confused. And I think that's because in lay terms we talk about a person's on punishment. Well, they really aren't on punishment, they're on negative reinforcement, at least in terms of psychological terms. Negative reinforcement is the removal of the aversive stimulus. So if someone is nagging you about cleaning your room, you clean your room because they nagged you about it. Removing the aversive stimulus is their nagging. You want that out of the way. Another way of looking at it is if you don't pay your car note, you get a pink slip or you get something in the mail, increases the amount that you should pay for that car note that month. That's negative reinforcement. That's not punishment. When they come and take your car away, yep, that's punishment. Okay? All right. But the important thing to remember is negative reinforcement increases the behavior we want. With punishment, there's some things that have to happen in order for it to be effective. One, it has to occur continuously. You can't miss a beat with it. You got to do it every single time. Child runs out in the street, you spank them, tell them don't run out in the street. They run out in the street again, you spank them again. This is a small child, okay? It's not like a 16-year-old. Anyway, they come in and you spank them because they ran out in the street. The next time you're in a hurry, they run out in the street, you don't punish them, you don't spank them. They go, aha, I only get the spanking if I get caught about running out in the street. It has to happen every single time. Punishment is tough in that sometimes people would rather have the punishment than having something removed, which would be negative reinforcement. You don't get to play with your whatever game you like because you have done something that was wrong, but you get it back in about a week. You're going to think about it a little bit more next time you do that thing that you possibly could receive negative reinforcement for. All right? Well, that's it, but I'll continue to maybe talk about some other topics in the future. Hopefully this helps. I know I went through it kind of fast, but you can play it again. All right? Talk to you later.